wanted to put this together was because I feel like there's a lot of people that are struggling with, how do I get my ex out of my life? Like, I feel like I'm constantly trying to behave for the court system. Sam, if I do that, how's that going to appear to the court? My attorney said I have to be nice. My attorney said I have to be giving. I don't want to come across as being a bitch. I feel like he calls too much. Do I have to respond every time he calls? He's telling the kids this, and that's not true. And I don't want my kids to believe that. And I feel like the ex's voice becomes so great in our own heads. And we are smart fucking people. That's what amazes me about this toxicity is, if you looked at all of us individually, we're educators, we're workers, we're professionals. We are like women of power in our jobs. We are men that run factories and buildings and such. But when it comes to our ex, man, that voice and that whole situation takes over and it starts bleeding into everything. For me, it bled into my parenting really, really bad. It bled into work, where I started obsessing at work a little bit. It bled into my social life, where I was like, that's all I wanted to talk about with my friend. Like, it went everywhere. So I feel like this PowerPoint, it's going to touch probably on some kind of level of it. That X is in your brain. It's in there. He or she is in there, and it's growing like a fucking tumor. And we have to figure out a way to not let it grow anymore. And so I threw this together really fast. And you know me, I'm probably going to talk, but for those of you that are visual, sometimes seeing something matters. And so for the teacher in me, I wanted to touch on a couple of bases. So I want you to first figure out if you feel like your ex is toxic. I want you to figure out, where is it affecting you? Where is your ex bleeding into your life? Because for some of you, it's just one or two areas. For others, it's every mark on the board right here. That person's getting into your kid's head. Your kids are coming home and they're saying all these things. Well, dad said this. Dad said to tell you this. Dad said we can't go there. Dad said you have to stop doing that. Dad said we need more medication. Dad said you need to take us to the doctor more. Dad said that you don't spend enough time with us. Dad said you don't read enough. And you're like, whoa, dad knows a lot for not being here. And so then he's gotten in your kids' heads. The other one is, sometimes I had a couple phone calls recently where the dad is calling 4 to 5 times a visit. When the children are with mom, he's calling 4 to 5 times saying, where are my kids at? What are they doing? Who's over? Where are you going? And she was so used to the control and the trauma from the relationship that she's answering the phone every time that he calls to ask these questions. And he's putting the kids on the phone. He's asking the kids these questions, and she's telling them to answer. So that's obviously a place where he is coming into our life. The work time, I don't know how many of you use your work as a time to stalk, harass, or read emails from your case, or interact with your ex, or interact with your lawyer, but it's affecting your job. For me as a teacher, I had a lot of downtime. I had passing periods that I could check my phone. I had my off period, I could check my phone. I had before and after that my friends were emailing me and texting me while I was at work, where I could not change or do anything. And they were telling me what my ex was doing. And I was slowly letting that whole like anxiety feeling come over me while I was at work, where I was supposed to be a professional. And here I was, a soup sandwich some days in the fetal position, like, woe is me, why is my life so shit? Bedtime. Once the kids go to bed, or their bedtime, your ex is now playing a part in talking to the kids right before bed and triggering them. And if you've been with me long enough, you know that I am not a fan of this bullshit. Nighttime phone calls are a no for me. Every phone call, if you really want to talk to your child, you should be doing it before dinner. After dinner, I want the anxiety-free feeling that there's no phone calls, but we'll get into that. So is he affecting your bedtime routine, triggering your children? And I'm going to talk mostly to the moms because that's what our group is full of, but we all know that there's some pretty decent dads in here too that are trying to fight for their lives with their kids as well. So just role reverse these situations. The texting. I had a phone call, was it today? Where a gentleman refuses to use the court-appointed app and just keeps texting, and she's responding on the text message. And I wanted to come through the phone and like flick her in the head and be like, wake up, sister. This is abuse. He keeps abusing you and you keep falling for it. So where is he affecting you? The phone calls, like I said, the nonstop calling at all hours of the day, harassing. What are you doing? Where are you at? Where are the kids? Can I talk to them? Why are you there? Who's with you? Who's traveling? Who's going? And for some of you, if you hear this and you're like, whoa, mine's not that bad. let me just tell you, there's a lot of people that have it that bad. And they're so trauma bond that they feel like they have to. They're so worried about how they're going to appear in court. They answer and they call back and they text back and they engage because they fear what the GAL will write down. They fear what their lawyer's going to say. They fear how it's going to be presented. Emails. Is he creeping into your inbox, into your DMs way too much? And it's affecting your level of performance at work because you have the same email. You're using the same email for everything. Or the last one that I love is when they affect your own attorney bill by causing more work than what this fucking should be. And your attorney has to fix fucking everything. And it costs you fucking money because they fuck up. Or they call all the time, or they drop the ball, or they send false information. Your attorney has to go digging. Oh, I didn't get that. Could you resend it again? Or, oh, I sent that, but it's not all the way filled out. Like, miss a court date. When they cause problems, it affects you financially. Mine personally filed motions and would drop the motions within a week of the court date, sometimes the day before. Now, what did I do with my attorney? I was not pro se. I would prep. I would get paperwork ready. I would work with my attorney. I would prep for that court date, for that motion. And then that motherfucker would cancel at the last minute. And what did that cost me? Thousands to prep and get ready with my attorney, because that bitch don't work for free. I mean, I tried. She won't work for free. So that cost me. Okay. So knowing what areas, and for some of you, again, it might be one or two, it might be all of these. And again, for the 4 people, I'm only going to cut this off after this last one. And you have to be over here on Facebook. Okay. Or over here on Zoom. Good Lord, Sam, get the words to come out of your mouth appropriately. So Facebook people, you need to come over here to Zoom. Gee whiz. You can tell I drank last night. Like, we went to a concert, a little mini one-man band concert, and I'm like fog-brained. I haven't drank in so long, I'm fog-brained. So we have to find solutions to all of these areas. So we're going to bolt through these pretty fast. And I'm going to share a couple of my like easy peasy must-haves. But when it comes to finding a solution of how do I get my ex out of all of these areas in my life, it comes down to one major word. Those of you that don't have PowerPoint and you're not looking at it, what's the word? What is the word? It's fucking boundaries. I, for 8 years, tried to get my ex, stop calling and asking me, stop doing this. Why do you keep bringing kids around or women around my kids? Why are you doing this? I would try to engage with my ex to get him to stop his behavior, stop stalking me, stop being an asshole, stop talking about me to the kids, stop showing up places and creeping us out, stop. I used so much fucking energy telling him to stop. And then I quickly realized, shit, Sam, that's the problem. You keep talking, it's like dumping fire or fuel on a fire. He was loving it. He was loving it that I was agitated. He was loving it that I was talking to him. He was loving it that he knew that he was in my kids' heads, that he knew that it was irritating me, that he knew the text message bothered me, that he knew the phone calls bothered me. That was like, he was in the corner just enjoying how much trauma and how much fucking crazy I was feeling and second guessing myself as a parent. He loved every moment of it. And until I made that switch of not throwing a boundary at my ex, but throwing a boundary on myself. And again, some of you are like, oh, Sam, whatever. It sounds so easy. And yeah, that's about how fucking easy it is. You are going to have to put a boundary on everything. All the things we just talked about, all the areas that he's in. And again, Quentin, I know you're on. I'm directing this towards women just in conversation, but just roll reverse the shit for you. You want to find every area and have a boundary. And for those of you that have great relationships, kumbaya, unicorn stories, fucking congratulations. I love you for that. I hope that ride or dies all the way out through your kids are being 18. But in the time and place where somebody starts dating, somebody has a midlife crisis, somebody loses a job, or, oh, I don't know, fucking inflation takes over and everybody goes fucking crazy here in a little bit because they can't afford their fucking bills and shit gets tight. Can you imagine? If your exes are paying you child support and this inflation keeps up, gas prices keep up, cost of beef goes up, cost of chicken goes up, can you imagine how some of your exes who pay you child support are going to feel? Which, by the way, a little side note on the flip side of that, why won't child support represent inflation? Questions? I don't know. That just always blows my mind how they never adjust child support to mere inflation, but whatever, because gas is going up for somebody like me too, who receives child support, but I digress. But I want you to think about this could potentially be a trigger really quick. What's going on in the world is now going to be your fault. I mean, if your exes are anything like mine, the fact that we don't have gas in this country is going to be my fault. And it will come across as everything will be my fault here soon. I can feel it. It's in the air. The wind is blowing right. And it's about ready to happen because my daughter gets her license in about 9 days. And you know what happens in 9 days? She's going to need gas money. And who's going to have to provide all of that gas money at $5.25 a gallon where I'm from? Moi. And child support, that's what it's for. It covers that. Again, I need merch made. Anybody that's good at design, I need child support should cover that. I need those t-shirts made stat so I can just pass them out to new members, because that is the quote of a decade thrown at me. Child support should cover that. Child support should cover that. It covers everything, apparently. So when it comes to these areas that your ex has dabbled himself in or dabbled herself in, you are going to have to implement a boundary on yourself, not on your ex, because that's a waste of fucking time, energy, breath, and just negative toxicity energy going the wrong direction. You have to think about, okay, soup sandwich, hot mess, clown story going on over there. You're over here in this corner. I'm not partaking. What I am going to do is put a boundary up so I don't see that fucking soup sandwich going on. And you're going to say, Sam, can't do that, babe. He calls me. Oh, I'm going to fix that for you. But I want you to look at the list. When it comes to getting in your kids' heads, that's really hard to put a boundary because you aren't there to stop that. The only thing you're going to be working on is with your child. When it comes to your attorney bill, the only thing you can go to your attorney is say, listen, Linda, he is doing this shit on purpose. And if we could, can we have him pay you? Because I'm sick and tired of him racking up our bill, because this should be my bill. And it's now all of a sudden becoming our bill where he just gets to rack it up for me. So have that conversation. But all the rest of them, you guys, is a fucking boundary, because you are part of the fucking problem. In the 6 phone calls I've had in the past, 7 days, the person I'm talking to is part of the problem, not the complete problem, because we are dealing with some whacked out, crazy people who are bipolar, narcissistic, so they say, just crushed, bitter, hurt people hurt, right? So, but we're part of the problem by seeing this hot mess over here in the corner and going, let me walk a little bit closer to it and see if I get touched by it. Like, you guys have to, at some point, hold yourself accountable that you are triggering yourself by partaking in the bullshit, by worrying about the bullshit. That whole phrase, oh, Sam, I'm so worried about how it's going to appear in court. You know what I would be more worried about right now? Your own fucking sanity. Your own sanity. Because any of us that have been around for a hot minute in our divorces, does anything get settled quickly? No. So while you're in that one moment of going, I wonder how this moment will appear, guess what, Linda? There's going to be 75 more fucking moments that you're going to have to also worry about. And you can't micromanage every fucking second of what you're doing. And you're human. For the love of God, we're supposed to fuck up when we are dealing with the most stressful time in our lives, where our children are figuring out where the fuck they're going to be and who's going to be in charge of them. But when we put ourselves in these situations, I had a mom the other day say, well, I want to know where he's taking her, which park he's taking her when he takes her on this visit. It's her first unsupervised. And I'm sorry, if it doesn't say in the paperwork that you have the right to know what parks they're going to, you are killing yourself slowly by asking him for it. He's not going to tell you. He's not. You have to lower your expectations on how you will be treated in this process. It's shit. Everybody needs to own up. Second shirt for merch right here. Second shirt. The system is broken. It's not for kids. It's not for kids. The system is so fucked up. So if you think all your paperwork coming from attorneys and judges is going to be wrote the way you want it to and protect you the way you want it to, it's not. It's not going to. But we have to start stopping ourselves and saying, hey, whoa, I got to stop investing so much into this. I have to put a boundary. I know myself. If I go digging on Facebook and I find a certain something, you know what's going to happen? My ass is going to be triggered. I'm going to lose my shit. I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm going to have to call all my friends and be the psycho that complains and bitches and moans about something I should have never found because I should have had my own fucking boundary up. But nope, what do? We go stalking on Facebook, and then we're like, oh my God, he posted a picture with his new girlfriend and my daughter. No shit. Of course he did. Why? Because it's going to fucking trigger you. No shit, Sherlock, because he knows your ass hasn't blocked you yet, and you keep going and looking at his fucking page. No shit, he did that. No shit, he keeps calling because you keep fucking answering. No shit, he keeps threatening you on text messages because you eventually cave and answer every fucking time. I want some of you to stop and think, and this is what got me in therapy. This is what got me. If your daughter acted this way around another human being, a man that she was dating, what would you do? If she had such low confidence in herself and cowered at this or feared this or gave in to this and didn't give a boundary, what would you be doing? And I was like, well, I'd knock the shit out of her and tell her to wake the fuck up and like, let's be going, girl. Like, we need to go to confidence camp over here and get back on the straight and narrow of like, you are a good person, fuck everybody else. So why are we not doing that? Instead, we beat ourselves up. We let all these little words, you're a bad mom. I can't believe you have custody. You're a piece of shit. You don't ever buy your kids anything. Well, you don't take them anywhere. You don't do enough. That should be you. And we let it just play this huge factor in our fucking head. And I don't get it. I get it because I did it for fucking 8 years. Believe me, I get it. Like, ooh, I know myself. I did the same thing. So the problem is you. You have to set a boundary. You have to set a boundary. Nobody else, just you. Not the ex. The ex won't set a fucking boundary to protect you. Fuck that. No, no, no. And then you have to show them with action. I say this to my 17-year-old son all the time. When he's like, sorry, mom. Sorry, mom. Sorry, I vaped in your house. Sorry, I wrecked another car. Sorry, I did this. Sorry, I didn't clean up. Sorry, I left my wet towel. Sorry. And I'm like, you know what, bro? Stop with this shit. Like, I can't. Just show me action. So what do I have to do? What's the boundary you think I implemented with my 17-year-old son? When he starts talking, I do this. Nope. Not listening. Not listening. I don't want to engage with you because you are a master manipulator with your words. I don't want to hear from you. I will not. This is me walking away. Show me with action. Now, I used to have dialogue with him. I used to have, oh my God, like debilitating dialogue back and forth with a 17-year-old boy trying to get to understand how his brain works. I will never master that. If anybody knows how to master that, you call me. I will pay you to train me. But until then, the only thing I can do is put a boundary up with my own child because he drives me fucking insane. And I have to show him the action by, this is me walking away. Now, we had a huge blow up last week from the vaping. I had to exit the building. Why? Because I had to give myself a boundary. Because my reaction to that was not good. Was not good. And so I had to show my action of a boundary. You are not going to get to me. You are not going to manipulate me. You are not going to talk your way out of this one. Here's me exiting the building. I showed it and he was like, where are you going? Why are you leaving? Come back. No. I am showing you a boundary to my own child. Now, if I can show my own child a boundary, where are you all at? You're on that fence of like, but Sam, if I show the boundary, there's a chance I'm going to get in trouble at court. I'm going to look like a bad mom. I'm going to look like I'm not trying to get along. I'm going to look like this. I'm going to look. Yeah, you are. And you know what's going to be good for your case? To prove that you can't fucking do joint. I talked to a mom today and I said this, listen, you're going after primary. He's going after primary, but you're doing joint right now. So many people make the mistake, and hear me clearly on this. 12 years, guys, been doing this. And this is the same mistake I made. So many people make the point of saying, you got to push in your case. You're pushing in court. You're up on the stand and you're pushing and you're pushing. And you're saying, this is why I deserve primary. This is why I deserve primary. This is why he doesn't deserve primary. He's horrible. But I deserve primary. And it's this, he's better, or I'm better than he is. One parent is better than the other. That's great. If that's part of your strategy, kudos to you. But you know what I want you to add in as almost just as equally important is to prove that fucking joint doesn't work. Because when they see two people like me and my ex, he wants primary, she wants primary. You know what they said? Well, you know what? Even though we wear the black coat and our job is to purely sit here and pick and judge, we're just gonna keep doing what we're already doing. You guys just share and join. Because what we do? We spent 8 years, 2 years of it in a battle saying, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. And what we both failed at was saying, no. Both of us are better, but let me show you, Judge, why joint does not work for us. We can't communicate. We're so hostile. The hatred for each other is greater than our own kids. I should have proved that. I should have proved how 50-50 wasn't working. I should have proved how joint decision-making, I say water, he says oil. I say blue, he says red. I say winter coats, he says buy them yourself. I should have wasted more time on that category, but I didn't. And then I got 50-50, and we all know that I have custody now, but that's beside the point. So when it comes to the specific boundaries, and we're going to go through this quickly so we can open it up. But when it comes to boundaries with your kids, you have an ex that's getting in their head, that little talk on the car ride home, that little talk at the dinner table. Anytime they see them, they have this little conversation that they think is innocent. They think it's just, I'm telling them the truth. Well, yeah, but she's also 7. She's 7. And maybe she doesn't need to know the truth yet because you're only telling her your half truths. But we need to teach our children that houses are different. Hey, kiddo, and it's simple, you guys. You don't need to talk to them like adults. You don't need to tell them the truth about what's going on. You don't even need to bring up divorce. All you need to do is make blank statements and use school, the place they go every fucking day, as your point of reference. Hey, kiddo, I know that every teacher is different. Guess what? When you're home, mom's house is different than dad's house. It's kind of like going to your PE teacher is different than your music teacher. And your math teacher is different than your English teacher. We're all different. But you have that one teacher that you feel really connected with, that if you needed to, you could go talk to that one teacher. It's no different at home. One of us you talk to and one of you don't. One of you overshare and one of you still raise your hand to talk. That's okay. Houses are different. So you relate everything to school. How I could have said that is, at dad's house, I know you don't feel safe and you probably are scared to talk to him, but at my house, you can talk to him. Do you see the difference in those two conversations? My kid is relating the situation to school, which they know like the back of their hand. And when I say, that teacher you like, boom, Mrs. Taylor comes right into her brain. She knows, oh yeah, Mrs. Taylor, man, she's my favorite teacher. But then if I say that teacher you don't really like, ooh, Mr. Morris, ooh, the PE teacher, ooh, look, ooh, he's scary. Oh, I don't like it. They instantly can relate to that. And when you slide in that little comment, like it's a lot like the 2 houses you have here. You feel really comfortable at one and you can ask all the questions. The other class, you kind of keep quiet and you just raise your hand when you need to use the bathroom. And you can laugh and say, I know I'm being extreme, but I just want you to know houses are different. And you may hear Mrs. Taylor never talks bad about any teacher. She is like, everybody loves her. Everybody brings her teacher presents and all the kids and all the staff, they all love her. But Mr. Morris, man, he's always complaining about Mrs. Taylor, isn't he? He's always talking rude about her. That's kind of it's mean of Mr. Morris to be doing that. He shouldn't do that because he's an adult and he shouldn't do it in front of you kids. So shame on him as a teacher for doing that. And without saying, dad shouldn't talk about me because that's a piece of shit thing to do, you've taught your children that adults fuck up. Some adults talk bad about adults. Some adults don't though. And you have to help your child with the okay statement of, hey kiddo, and I know if this does happen at one of our houses where one of us talks about the other one, like let's say I say something about dad that's not funny. I say a joke about him and it's not funny. Feel free to tell me like that you've gone too far, mom. Don't talk about dad like that. Or you can say, hey, if that happens at dad's house, it's okay just to agree and say, okay, it's okay that dad doesn't like me. It's okay that dad may make fun of me being fat and use the things you fucking know they're saying. I will never forget my children's faces when I said, hey, I bet dad calls me fat all the time, doesn't he? And they were like, no, mom. And they were like, holy shit, how did she know that? I bet dad says that I drink all the time, doesn't he? No. Yeah. And then finally Walker was like, how'd you know that, mom? I was like, oh, because he says it all the time, you guys, like, and it doesn't bother me. It's just what he thinks. He doesn't know what happens in my house. Although he did because he had recordings of, cameras in my house, but that's another story. So children, you have to teach them that these people, not just their parent, but other people are going to come into their lives and dump on them. And you have to figure out, as the good parent, as the neutral parent, the one that's not doing the dumping, you are going to have to figure out how to get your child to release that. My daughter had a punching bag. She would come home and punch the living shit out of that thing. My son would literally go grab forks and go throw them at trees outside. Are we a volatile family? Probably, but that's how we got our aggression out. We did things like that. Other people paint, other people write. My kids used violence to get their aggression out. And they never told me why for the longest time. Their therapist told them, hey, when you need that transition period, that jet lag that we call it, that TikTok taught us, when they transition from house to house, we have to give them a way to get it out. And sometimes it's that straight face. Kiddo, you can tell me anything. And I would ask my kids this, tell me a story. Tell me what happened, what got you upset. And do you want me to keep it? Or do you want me to table it for later and we can figure out how to solve it? So when they would come to me and say, Dad is really pressuring us to go live with him, I don't know what to do. Okay, kiddo, do you want me to keep that to myself and we don't talk about it again? Or do you want me to table that and we can figure out how to solve that later? And I would say, you guys, 80% of the time, my kids would say, table it. Or they would say, keep it to yourself, Mom. Keep it to yourself. And it would die down. And then when they'd get re-triggered, coming on a car ride back to my house the following next 2 weekends, they would tell me again, they'd say, keep it to yourself, because they knew if they brought it up, oh shit. If I took it back to him and said, why do you keep saying this to the kids? Which, by the way, goes on deaf ears. It's a waste of fucking time. Don't even waste your energy on that one. If I went to him and said, why do you keep asking the kids? Or why do you keep forcing the kids? Or why do you keep talking to the kids about where they're going to live? I don't do that. What the fuck are you talking about? Waste of, again, boundary. Don't even bother. Use attorneys if you want to. But again, I'm having trouble hearing you. It's going to be a bother. Okay. The phones. Good Lord, this is an easy one that all of you just won't pull the fucking trigger. Hide alerts from your ex. If your kids are with you, I'm sorry. What's the point of having an alert from an ex or an OFW message keep popping into your fucking parenting time while your kids are with you? Are you wanting to trigger yourself? Are you wanting to fucking quiver at the knees? Are you wanting to be psychoed, like analyzed? Like, why are you doing that to yourself? And a lot of it is you're addicted. Own it. You are addicted to the drama of it. You are addicted to the shit show. You are part of the fucking problem. How many of you hide alerts on a group text message when it gets out of hand? Dude, if I see them on a group text message, I instantly, as soon as I get joined to that shit, I'm like, nothing fucking important. I need to know, hide alerts. And I'll check that shit when I want to, maybe 2 days later. It still has a little fucking ball next to it telling me I haven't read it yet. But I don't need to be triggered when my kids are with me. Even if they're not with me, you guys, I don't need my ringer going. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I used to have it as a bark for 8 years because he had a German Shepherd that was at the tree right when you walked in his house, that I swear to God, he was training to fucking kill me if it ever got off the leash. That motherfucker would bark like it was nobody's business when I got in the driveway. And so I put my ringtone as a bark. And one day I was out and somebody said, oh my God, who is that? You have the text message sounds like a bark. And I said, well, that's my ex-husband. Funny story, blah, blah. And they said, why would you do that to yourself? You're enjoying a lunch right now. Why would you trigger yourself with that bark? And she was right. PTSD every fucking time I heard that bark. Ass clenched, got a little sweaty in the palms. Like, what does he want? What does he text me about? What happened? And then it ruins my fucking day. And I allowed it because I thought I have to be on alert. I have to have every message. I have to be able to communicate. I have to be able to answer. We all chose single parenting at this point in the game. We're divorcing. He's going to have to ride or die on his own a little bit. I need to have some fucking space and freedom. So turn the fucking alerts off. That's an order. When you don't have your kids, you can have them on if that's what you need. But also he needs to be able to succeed. If it's an emergency, he'll call. If it's an emergency, your kids are in harm, he will call. I'm not saying turn your ringers off on your kids. I'm saying turn your ringers off to that motherfucker. It does not need to be on. And here's a quick one. If you can't do that, promise me this. You will at least not respond within 2.3 fucking seconds like some of you do. Oh, shit. Stop. Girlfriend, I'm out to lunch with. I know we're having a great time, but did you not just hear this bark? I need to read this real quick. Oh, yeah. Now I got to answer him. Hold on. You don't understand. I have to answer right now because if I don't, it causes this thing and it's just not worth it. So while it's in my head, I'm just going to text him right now. Hold on. And you've just ruined a fucking lunch. You've ruined a movie. You've ruined a book. You've ruined a fucking Netflix show. You have ruined just time by your fucking self. Put a time gap in between the fucking and you fucking going thumb happy, texting him back. Put that motherfucker on read. Like, I read it. That's it. I read it. I don't need to fucking come when you say now. No, no, no. You lost that shit when we got divorced, when we separated. I will get to you when I get to you. So please put a fucking boundary in your parenting plan that says all messages will be read within 48 hours and all messages that are non-emergency will be responded in 48 hours. A dentist appointment question, unless it's that day, is not a fucking emergency. Where's her lunchbox? Not a fucking emergency. Anybody else can have the smarts to put it in another fucking bag. Because no matter what, if it's at my house, you still don't have it, so figure it the fuck out. Put it in a brown paper bag like they used to for, I don't know, 50 fucking years. Like, figure it the fuck out. When you keep being at his beck and call, answering all of these fucking questions in 2.3 seconds, you wonder why he keeps doing it, because he never has to learn, because you keep fucking doing it. He never has to figure shit out. I've even implemented this with my unicorn. I got to talk a little bit quieter because I think he hears me. He acts like he can't hear me, but I think he can hear me. I just pause. When he asks a question, where is this? My silence shows him I ain't answering. Okay. You know what you need to do? Remember and go look or ask somebody else, phone a friend, because I'm not helping you every step of the way. I know where your sunglasses are, but I'm not telling you because I didn't fucking wear the fuckers. I just happen to know where you put them, but I'm not going to help you because that's easy. Pause with your kids. Pause with your kids. If one thing I can remember from when I taught 5 years ago is this: kids suck at coping and waiting. They can't wait for shit. Everything is like now, instant, now. I want my iPad now. I want dinner now. Kiddo, you're going to have to sit and wait. Sit and look out the fucking window. We ain't there yet. And no, you're not getting your fucking iPad. Dinner's not on the table yet. You're going to have to wait. Watch and wait. So when your kids ask you a question, Mom, can we do this? Yeah, kiddo. Wait 2 minutes. I don't care if you got to set a timer. Teach your kids to fucking wait. That instant gratification is not a real thing. It's not. It's not. And we're all going down a slippery slope with that with our kids, but we're doing it with our exes. We are giving them instant gratification by answering them instantly when they fucking message us. I mean, show me in the comments. Tell me I'm lying, because I used to do the same thing. I was like, look how quickly I'm responding. I look like such a good little co-parenting mama. Look how fast I am. Look at me being proper secretary, giving him the information that he asked when all he really had to do was like scroll up, I don't know, or fucking look it up on the email that I sent 2 fucking days ago. But he's lazy and he knows I'm going to answer. So he's fucking emailing me and asking me, and you know what I'm going to do? Answer back. I'm going to answer back. When if we just stopped and paused about this for 1 second, if he brings this to court and says she doesn't answer my text messages, she doesn't answer my emails, but I have, they were just in previous ones, and he wasn't a good secretary for his own self. That's all I have to show. Judge, I did actually 2 days prior to that, and it's not my job to send it to him again. Nope, because I'm pretty sure when he gets shit from work from his boss, he doesn't ask his boss 3 times. Pretty sure he doesn't, because he still has the fucking job. So I'm not doing it, and he doesn't do it to me, because I've asked him something more than once, and guess what? I didn't get an answer. So I'm not playing that game. You have to show the fucking boundary. Show the fucking boundary. My attorney or my therapist said one time, I said, man, therapist, you know, every time I go down this road to my house, I keep looking over there. Like, how do I not look over there? How do I not look over there? I keep looking to see who's in his driveway. I keep looking to see if the kids are outside. Like, why do I keep doing that? And my therapist quite simply was like, Sam, I don't know why the fuck you keep going that way. If you can't train your head not to look that way, stop driving on the road that gives you access to him. And that is this, you guys. Stop giving him the alert on your phone. Show a boundary. He can blow you up all day long, but not if you have that fucking ringer turned off, not if you have that fucking hide alert off. It's just going to sit there and glow. And that's it. And let it glow. Now your anxiety, let me just tell you from somebody that did this, 8 years, I answered like a fucking dog on a goddamn whistle. But for somebody that does it now, he will literally text later in the day and he'll be like, are you okay? I asked you a question at like 11 o'clock this morning and it's like 7. I'll be like, oh yeah, man, bro. Sorry. I read it and just forgot to answer you because we're in a different stage, right? We're at the end of the game. Our game's almost over. Thank the Lord. But it used to be, where are you at? Why aren't you answering me? And I've trained him well enough. You can sit on read for a long time, And the same thing is true for emails. Have a policy, 72 hours, 48 hours. I don't care what it is. And the one thing that I'm really pushing people to do more of is to set up an email just for your ex. Don't have it connected to work. Don't have it connected to anything, social life, not any of your things you sign shit up on. Just have one email that's just for X stuff. Just X stuff. That's it. One place, one email. That's it. It just makes it easier and it doesn't get muddy and you don't actually send shit from the wrong email address, which is what I did once. And just make sure it's just one email. But set a boundary that you don't have to answer every fucking email. I had a lady the other day that was like, Sam, I get 6 emails or messages a day on OFW. Okay, what's your policy say in your parenting plan? It should give you a good parenting plan is going to have I only have to answer every 48 hours. So accumulate all the questions. If they are ones that you should be answering, and answer one time. And I would always have a statement in there. I would prefer all of these be in one thought, not multiple emails. Now, again, that's probably going to fall on deaf ears, but I love to keep stating the same thing over and over again in hopes that if this does go to court, you've asked and pleaded for these multiple emails to fucking stop. Continuing on, if you have a face-to-face interaction and you are one of those people that start pitting out, sweaty, like, fuck, what do we say? What do you say? What do we do? What do we say? What do we do? I am one that you fake it till you make it. I want you looking eye contact. How are the kids for you? Good? Awesome. I want you making the eye contact to show dominance, right? You're going to go piss in his litter box real quick, right as soon as you get out of the car. You're going to proceed to have dominance in the conversation. And I want you, if things are not focused on the kids, let's say, hey, how are the kids? Were they good? Ask a direct question. Hey, what time did they last eat? Hey, did they nap for you today? When's the last time she had a bottle? Ask one direct question to get them to answer, because this is what'll happen. One of two things. Fuck you, I don't have to tell you. Okay, sir. Thanks for participating today. Or two, they do communicate. And it was initiated by you, the stronger, confident, fake it till you make it, parent, and your children are watching that tennis match going, shit, mom just owned that one. That was pretty good. At a young age, your kids will pick up on your confidence around your ex, which hopefully will rub off on them to where they have that same confidence on your ex, their dad, or their other parent. But if your ex comes at you with questions you don't feel comfortable with, and I always say money or visitation are off the table. Pleasantries, health care of the children, food, things like that, those are on the table because that's about the care of the children. But if that makes you uncomfortable, then you just say, please put that in an email and I will email you my response. Blank statement that you fucking, I don't care if you got a tattoo on your forearm. Email me that question and I will email you back. Doesn't say when, because you're gonna get a 72-hour hold from me actually on this one. But you want it to be documented in email. You don't have to explain why you want email. You don't have to go into this court order. Remember paragraph 17.3 where it says we have to, no, just say, hey, let's just stop right there. Please put that in an email and I will email you back. And just ignore. Hey, kiddo, and just start talking to your kids. Just start talking to your kids. Kiddo, let's get in. Let's get buckled up, whatever it is. Social media, block everyone. If you're a triggered person, I'm still a triggered person. You guys, 15 fucking years. I still have him blocked. We were never friends. Once I found him creeping in on something, I blocked him on that. I blocked all of his family who he doesn't even really talk to, but I just blocked them all. I mean, should I have some of my own family members blocked? But that's just me. I block people I just don't want to get triggered by. Whether I get triggered with anger or sadness or emotion, I could not look at even the girl that he's dating. I love her. I think she's amazing. Her and I could be besties. But her posting pictures of how great he is triggered me. I'm like, whoa, we obviously got two different men. I get it. We got two different men, 15 years separation. I get it. He grew up, something got hit upside the head. I don't know what happened, or we have different interests, but it triggered me. So I blocked her in the past year. I block everyone. There is no, and this is what people will say, but Sam, there's pictures of my kids on the internet. You're right. There is probably some amazing videos of my kids playing sports. Well, just my daughter, because let's be real, he doesn't have any say of the other ones. But I don't care. I wasn't meant to have them. There's probably amazing photos that she takes of my daughter when she takes them to the beach and she takes them on boat rides. They're probably gorgeous. And I don't care because it's too triggering for me to see. So I don't go searching. I just block because I need that boundary. Did she block me? No. She might be able to see my shit. And obviously not if we blocked each other or I blocked her, but I initiated it because I don't need it. And however she took that, I don't fucking care. Because you know what? We aren't besties. I got 23 months left with this motherfucker. That's it. I don't have to have her in my life and I don't want to be in her life. So please do the necessary blocking. I don't care that you have kids. I don't care that there's pictures of your kids. I don't care. Don't fucking tag each other. Unless you're the kumbaya eating brunch on 11 o'clock on Sundays, then go right the fuck ahead. But you don't feel obligated to tag somebody that didn't even come. Don't tag somebody that wouldn't even stand for a picture. Don't tag somebody just because they fucking gave sperm. You don't have to share. Social media is a fucking privilege. It's not a must. It's not an essential part of raising kids. So stop fucking making it part of it. Take that part out. If you are getting dumped in work, you're letting him come into your work, grow up. No drama at work. You need your fucking job, especially in an inflation year or decade. Don't fuck that one up. Focus at work. So however he's getting into work, put a fucking boundary up. I don't care if you have to go put a topper on your fucking cubicle at work. You put another fucking boundary up to make sure your 8-hour workday is not fucked up with this shit. Because nothing in that one workday is going to change your situation. So stop letting your boss see you cry. Stop letting your boss hear that you missed work. Stop letting your boss see you on your phone. Stop letting your boss see you walk away because you're upset. Stop that shit. You need your fucking job. Grow up. Separate the two. Parenting time. God, the other day when this mom said, Sam, he calls 4 times during my parenting time. I said, well, do you do that shit back to him? She goes, no, I don't even call anymore because it's not worth it. Exactly. These phone calls are stupid. I hate these fucking phone calls in hostile situations. They're dumb. Because all it is a fucking power trip. No. So limit it. And she said, but Sam, I'm worried how it's going to appear. Bitch, print out your cell phone record. If you can show that you answered 1 phone call a day, call it good. Call it good. Because you are on the borderline of saying that he's harassing you during your parenting time. I would never be able to settle. If I kept hearing that fucking bark go off every time I got rested with my kids to go play something, I'll be like, oh shit, guys, we got to go answer the phone again. It's your fucking dad. No, I'm not doing that. No, I am not doing that. So limit your conversation. Okay, you've already called once today. What do you need? And that would be in text. We're not answering the rest of the night. You've had your 1 phone call for 15 minutes. And be prepared for that childish fucking retaliation of fine. You're not fucking talking to him during my parenting time. Okay, bro. Good. Glad we're on the same page. You stop phone calls. I stop phone calls. You know what we could just do? Fucking parent our children during our parenting time and not talk on the phone. That'd be great. Okay, cool. Glad we got there. Glad it was your idea, man. Whatever you got to do. But that is going to require you to have a boundary and fuck how it looks in court. As long as you're allowing 1 phone call for 5 minutes to 15, no more than 15. These fucking phone calls. I have a dad that calls me all the time. He's like, Sam, my ex-wife calls my daughter like 3 times a night and they talk for 30 minutes each time. He's like, I get no parenting time because she's on the fucking phone. I'm like, put the goddamn hammer down. No, because what's she going to do? Take you back to, play that out. Does he really think this mom is going to take him back to court to say, hey, I used to talk to her 3 times a night for 30 minutes each, an hour and a half during his parenting time, and now he's only letting me talk once? I would hope 9 out of 10 judges would be like, sit and spin, bitch. You talk too much. That's enough. It's his parenting time. Take a step back. So quit letting this fucking fear rule what you're doing. Stop it. Stop it. Now I'm getting heated. Okay, so how do you fix it for you? If you are getting triggered, he's in here. He's rattling around. He's so fucking loud, you could barely stand it. It's so loud in there. Like his voice is just like, you're a bad mom. You're a piece of shit. You've gotten fat. You drink too much. You have new friends. Your kids hate you. Whatever it is. That was just my top 5 from like years 2008 to 2012. That was my top 5 hit list. You have to put other things in your brain. You have to start healing the part of you that's broken. And whether it's your heart or your brain or both, you got to find something for you. So music for me, I have just tapped into lately. I can't help it. It just puts me in a good mood. When I'm cleaning, it's all about Zac Brown. When I want to work, Van Morrison. Like I'm just like vibing while I'm typing away. Like you got to find your vibe and turn music on all the time in your house. It changes things. Okay. Put your phone down. Get that tattooed somewhere. Put your phone down. Stop living on TikTok. And when you come across TikToks that are not helpful for you, please put your finger on your phone and say, I don't want to see shit like this anymore. I don't care if it's my videos, if I'm triggering you. I mean, I do, but get rid of me. Get rid of anybody that triggers you. I keep getting pregnancy announcements. Blech. No. No, please. No, please. Reward yourself for good behavior. And this sounds so dumb, but if you actually turn off your ringers tonight, you put on hide alert, reward yourself tomorrow with Starbucks or something. Be like, Sam, I did it. I finally turned it off. And it's so stupid because it's like the smallest little like slide it over. But for me, that was about as hard as turning on a different road. It took weeks to get there. But when I finally turned on a different road to go home, I started to heal. Move your body. I'm not saying exercise. I'm not saying go lose weight. I'm saying get off your ass. Get off your ass and go do something. I don't care if it's walk up and down your steps 10 times. Move your body. Stretch. Go walk outside. Walk around your yard. Pick a couple weeds for a little bit. Move your body, because I think a lot of us are sitting on our asses a little too much. It's getting a little too comfortable. A little too comfortable. Like today we gave Jared stuff for Father's Day, and as he was opening it, he was like, oh, I think I'm gonna need a bigger size in these shoes. I was like, okay. So I started to work on my computer standing. Instantly, my brain said, sit down. And I'm having a conversation inside my head while he's talking to me. And I'm like, why do you need to sit down? You were just sitting down for 2 hours to work. Why do you need to sit down? Why can't you just stand here and look this up? But my body was like, go sit down. Go sit down and be fat. And I'm like, I can stand here for 5 fucking minutes. Can I? Like, good Lord. So just move your body. I have the stupid Apple Watch now, and I am obsessed. It's making me move. It's making, because I want to fucking kill my rings. Like I want to knock my rings out every day. Take some toxic food out. I recently gave up dairy, and I don't know if any of you have, but holy shit, you want to talk about like brain fog gone? Dairy is fucking crazy for my body. But if you're doing something toxic, it could be food, it could be smokes, it could be drugs, it could be coping mechanisms, biting your nails, twirling your hair. I'm an obsessive hair twirler when I'm super stressed, and I would get like bald spots from twirling the same spot so much. You got to figure out how to take some of those things out. Drinking too much coffee late at night, too much pop, too much Red Bull, whatever the fuck it is, take something out, but put something in. Remember, we don't take away, we put something else in. So find a good tea, find something that you love. Personal development. I'm going to tie into the personal development here a little bit later. Self-care. Pluck your eyebrows once a week. Good Lord, I could probably do it every 3 days if I really need to. Shave your mustache, because God knows you have one. I mean, if you're over 35, you probably have a mustache and probably weird chin facial hair. It's okay. Take care of yourself. Soak your feet. Shave that weird hair off your belly button that keeps getting really long. I don't know. Take a bath. When's the last time you took a fucking bath? Like self-care. When you start looking, I started the middle part. No one said anything, by the way, and I'm really kind of pissed. I mean, I've seen you guys how many times for like a year, and my daughter switched me to a middle part like 2 weekends ago. Still trying to embrace it, but she's like, you look so much younger. And I'm like, I don't know about that. She also said I was really hot in high school. And like, she said it like it was past tense. So I'm trying not to take that into the fact that I don't look like that anymore. I was like, thanks. Look forward to something. Have something on your calendars. Look forward to something. But if you're like me, that those jokes on TikTok were like, the extrovert in me made plans next week. The introvert in me was like, fuck, I don't want to go. But when you go, you end up loving it. So find something you love and look forward to it. We were looking forward to the concert we went to. I say concert, it was one man band. He's probably going to play at our wedding if we ever decide to get married, and he's still alive. And we went and listened to him play harmonica, playing the guitar while playing the drums with his feet, like one man show outside, froze our asses off, but it was so good. And we were home by 11 o'clock. We were looking forward to that forever. We're going on vacation. We leave tomorrow. We're looking forward to those things. We plan something. Do something that you love that you're great at. For me, like I said, I used to scrapbook. I got back into that when I was going through my hard phase. I loved exercise. I got back into that. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but find something you love to start healing a little bit, to where that voice in your head of you're fat, your mom's a drunk, she's a piece of shit, she shouldn't have you, I'm a better parent, blah, blah, blah. My new girlfriend's hotter than her, whatever it is. Make yourself feel good. And the last one, number 10, know what your fucking love language is and fill it yourself. Mine is word of affirmation. My family can tell me thank you all day long, doesn't mean shit. I have to help complete strangers to feel good about myself. So when I'm feeling lonely, get in the support group. When I'm feeling lonely, book a consult. Like I have to fill myself up that way. But if you don't recognize this about yourself, you're lying to yourself, because you're acting like you're fine and you're not. You're not fine because your bucket is completely empty. And if you're not filling it, you have nothing to overpour to your children. If your bucket is empty, your kids are not getting what they deserve, because they deserve the overflow. Once you're fulfilled, you poureth over into their buckets. Okay. And love language is a whole nother subject, but